The Yamaga Sokō method. You don't hate your life. You hate that you can't keep your own word. Every time you promise change and don't follow through, you don't just lose momentum, you lose respect for yourself. The problem isn't motivation, it's integrity. Yamaga Sokō, a forgotten samurai philosopher, believed one thing: if you cannot command yourself, you cannot lead anything. Discipline is not restriction, it's structure, it's control, it's the foundation of inner strength and masculine dignity. You don't rise by doing more. You rise by doing what you said you'd do, especially when no one's watching. In this video, you'll learn how to build identity through action, how to train without noise, and how to earn back the one thing you can't fake: your own respect. This is not advice. This is a method, the samurai method. You don't hate yourself. You hate your inconsistency. When you break a promise to yourself, no one sees it, but you do. And it's not the failure that scars you. It's the silence afterward, the look in the mirror that feels slightly more hollow than yesterday. You keep saying tomorrow will be different, but every tomorrow looks like the day before. So the words mean less, and so do you. You don't need external discipline. You need to rebuild trust with the man in the mirror. That trust is called self-respect, and it's earned, not claimed. Most men confuse confidence with achievement, but the core of self-worth isn't what you've done. It's what you do when no one's watching. Every time you act in alignment with your word, you reinforce your identity. Every time you hesitate, delay, or fold, you fracture it. This is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You don't have to be the strongest. You just have to be dependable to yourself. That's where real self-respect begins. Not in winning, but in showing up as the same man, day after day, especially when it's inconvenient. Your dignity grows when your actions match your code, and your code means nothing if it only applies when life is easy. So stop asking how to feel better. Start asking who you become when you finally keep your word, because the man who honors his own discipline doesn't need motivation. He moves with weight. He moves with peace, and no one can take that from him. Who was Yamaga Sokō? The samurai philosopher of inner order. Yamaga Sokō wasn't a warrior by the sword. He was a warrior of the mind. Born in 1622 inches, feudal Japan, he was a strategist, a scholar, and a reformer who believed that samurai had to live by more than skill. They had to live by principle. At a time when many warriors were fading into luxury, he called for a return to discipline, to clarity, to internal order. To him, a samurai without purpose was no different from a common man, just one with a blade and no direction. Sokō didn't preach strength through domination. He taught strength through self-control, not through loud actions, but through silent alignment between thought and behavior. He believed that the highest form of honor was to live a life so structured, so committed, that no external force could shake it. Respect, in Sokō's view, wasn't demanded. It was reflected in posture, in rhythm, in how a man handled his smallest choices. For him, the battlefield wasn't always outside. It was within. In every decision between laziness and focus, between chaos and order, between impulse and principle, his teachings didn't fade. They shaped generations of warriors who understood that the blade meant nothing if the hand behind it was undisciplined. Yamaga Sokō gave the samurai their spine back, not with violence, but with vision. And today, his legacy isn't just history. It's a standard, one that still cuts through the noise of modern life, for any man ready to stop drifting and start living by structure. The discipline that builds identity. You don't become a disciplined man by force. You become one by decision, then repetition. Every time you choose to follow through, you cast a vote for the kind of man you are. Not just in public, especially in private. Discipline isn't about pushing harder. It's about becoming aligned. It's the bridge between your values and your behavior. Most men want confidence, but confidence is just trust. Trust in yourself. And trust is earned by doing what you said you would do, even when no one else will know if you didn't. This is how identity is forged, not by intensity once, but by integrity often. Your rituals shape you, your habits define you, and your smallest choices whisper your character back to you every single day. When you skip what matters, you reinforce the version of you that gives up. When you keep the promise, you reinforce the version of you that commands his own life. The samurai didn't train because it was easy. They trained because it was their duty. Their strength wasn't a burst. It was a rhythm. They didn't need reminders. Their identity carried the weight. So the question is not, how do I become disciplined? The question is, what kind of man do I become when I act like one every day? Discipline is not the goal. It's the ground beneath your feet. And the man who builds on it becomes unshakable. How to train like a samurai, even without a sword. You don't need a battlefield to train like a warrior. You need structure. Discipline is not about intensity. It's about rhythm, and rhythm is built with decisions, not feelings. The modern man fails not because he's weak, but because he has no system, no anchor, no edge. You want to train like a samurai? Start with time. Wake up when you said you would. Eat with intention. Move your body. Sit in silence. Control what you consume. Not because it's impressive, but because it sharpens who you are. Yamaga Sokō taught that a man's daily routine was a reflection of his inner state. Chaos outside meant chaos within. Precision outside meant power inside. This is not about perfection. It's about order. Because when life hits hard, you don't fall back on motivation. You fall back on structure. Discipline isn't just what you do. It's what you remove. Remove the things that dull your mind, the distractions that make you forget your path, the habits that erode your word. Your phone isn't neutral. Your diet isn't neutral. Your calendar isn't neutral. Everything trains you or weakens you. You don't rise by accident. You rise by ritual. You rise by choosing the hard path before it chooses you. No sword, no armor. Just a man who keeps showing up in the same direction, with the same focus, until the result is inevitable. That is training. That is discipline. That is the way of the modern warrior. The man who keeps his word becomes dangerous. The loudest man in the room is never the most dangerous. The most dangerous man is the one who does exactly what he said, quietly, without delay. In a world full of empty promises, a man who keeps his word is rare, and rare things command respect. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be reliable. Because when your actions align with your intentions, you stop performing and start leading. Respect is not given. It's recognized. And nothing earns it faster than consistency without excuses. You don't need a sword to be feared. You need discipline so sharp that even your silence feels like a statement. Yamaga Sokō understood this. He didn't tell men how to look powerful. He taught them how to become so grounded that power was just the natural result. The man who keeps his word becomes someone others trust, someone others follow, someone even enemies hesitate to test. Why? Because discipline builds self-respect, and self-respect is the foundation of presence. You don't chase validation, you embody your code. You walk into the room, and everyone feels it, because you've already faced yourself and refused to fold. That kind of man isn't impressive. He's inevitable. You don't need a new plan. You need to keep one promise and repeat it. If you finish this video and move on like nothing happened, you've already lost. But if something inside you woke up, if you're ready to rebuild your self-respect, not with words, but with action, then this is your path. Subscribe to The Samurai Method. We're not here for views. We're here for men who are done performing and ready to train. One code, one decision, every day, until discipline becomes identity. Don't just watch warriors. Become one.